Hey everybody, it's Alex from Somewhere in October. If you haven't peeped my logo, I'm actually very proud of it. I just went to watch Beetlejuice in theaters. I don't know what way I should say it. I'm a little bit nervous. And I wrote some notes initially when I left theaters, and then I slept on it, and we're gonna go over these in a little review. For new releases, like this one specifically, this is not gonna have any spoilers. I'm actually gonna film a reacting to people's opinions and thoughts from either my comment section or forums next week. So if you don't want this movie to be spoiled for you, at minimum, avoid the comment section. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I also feel like maybe go into a blind. But let's talk about it. I'm going to give some criticism. Even though I love Beetlejuice with all my heart and soul, and the fact that it was reignited and we got this cast and we got Michael Keaton again, thinking back now, I'm like, I wish there were just a couple small changes, one big one, that I think would have made it more iconic in its legacy, I guess. But I'm just thankful we got another one, okay? I love Beetlejuice. The concept is so fun. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice itself, like, I would just watch an hour and a half of that, right? If you don't know, and you can Google the actor's name, because I'll get flagged if I tell you what he did, but the original dad, to not cast him or recast him for this movie was so great. Like, the way they did claymation. It says in the trailer that he passed, so the way that they made him pass, so he's in the afterlife looking a certain way, is amazing. I think that was so creative and so fun, and also like a little jab. I liked it. Catherine O'Hara, I found her character way more likable. I just rewatched the original Beetlejuice so I could have a very good comparison. I didn't even find her enjoyable in that movie, but this movie, I just had such an appreciation for her character because it stayed true to who she is, but she was kind of fun. Like, she was unapologetic and it was entertaining. There were some parts where it felt like the story was dragging. Like, it started kind of hot, and then there was this little second act where it was kind of a very slow burn. There was a lot of subplots going on, but they did all converge, and there were actually a couple plot twists that completely caught me off guard. I don't know if I'm just gullible, which could be the case because I'm very gullible, but it was so good, so good. I can't wait to react to opinions because I'm curious if other people feel the same. Danny DeVito was in it. He was funny. William Dafoe, I kind of loved his character. I thought it was kind of like stupid funny, so I enjoyed it. There's so many horror movie references. Like, I don't know if you guys have caught on to any of those. I won't spoil them, but they made some references to horror classics, and me being a newbie, I picked up on them, so there could be more that I didn't pick up on. And I loved that they didn't go too advanced with the practical effects or the visual effects, because they could have made it look very realistic, and I think that actually would have taken us out of the journey that it is. I love the look of Beetlejuice's world. I like that when they're with the sandworm, it does not look realistic. I think it's fun. I think it really puts me in the setting that we're in for that movie. My note from Michael Keaton literally says, happy birthday, because his birthday was September 5th. 73 years old. Just, I have no words, all right? He's so good. Love him. I love Jenna Ortega's character. I think, I wasn't surprised. I knew she was going to play it good. And I think they did a really good job of why her and her mom's relationship is strained. Because first when it was strained, I was like, does she just hate her because she's moved on? Like, is this what we're going with? But it was actually more paranormal than that, and I enjoyed it. Now, one thing I slept on that I really realized this morning was I'm actually kind of disappointed with the character development of Lydia. So when you watch the original, Lydia is this like gloomy and cool, and they made Lydia so high strung. I don't think she needed to be. You can have this storyline, be broken, be stressed, be worried, be scared, but be this like dark and gloomy presence like she was in the first one. It was giving Joyce Byers, and I think that's why when I was watching it, it didn't take me out of it, because I love Stranger Things. I loved her character, so it felt natural. But when I thought back on it, I was like, that was more Joyce than Lydia. I hate to say that because I love Winona Ryder, but I do think they could have kept her more cool, because Lydia is the icon, the legend, the star. Dolores, so that's the character, if you haven't watched it yet, that has Stitches, this whole other subplot in this movie. And I loved her character. I thought it was cool, interesting. The actress just did a really good way of making her spooky. Like, she was just a presence throughout the movie. But the conclusion was kind of lame. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I really would have liked to see in that last moment a little bit more back and forth, or even just something to show her one last time being a little bit badass before whatever happens. The new guy that Lydia was with, he was unbearable, but I know that he was meant to be that way, so it was funny. I do feel like some of his parts were drawn out, and I don't think we needed that much of him. I think he served his purpose and it was funny, it was entertaining. Like when he's on the steps during the wake, that felt so long. Astrid, so Jenna Ortega's character, kind of acknowledged that. So maybe I should just embrace that because it was clearly a choice. Because she starts like hitting her head off the back of the wall, like, can this be over yet? And I was feeling that. So maybe that's just to bring in the relatability. Maybe that's more filmmaking than it is just me watching it. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. There's this young guy that Jenna Ortega's character Astrid runs into, and he literally looks like Dr. Spencer Reid and Joe from You did us into one person. That was the part of the story that I felt drawn out, but it paid off. So I actually really liked how that ended up. And my biggest criticism and my biggest like, oh, I'm kind of sad I have to say this to you guys, is I don't think I liked the ending. I really was battling with it when it happened. I sat there and I was kind of like, okay, love the movie, but is that really how we're ending the Beetlejuice legacy? For me, I'm really good at convincing myself that I enjoyed something because I appreciate it. So I will be like, yeah, it wasn't the best, but you loved it. And you'll see that a lot in these reviews. And I think the truth will come out when I do those like commentary opinions reacting to them, because I'm either going to ride hard for it, which is going to reveal that I love it, or I'm going to be like, you know what, you're kind of right. And I'm going to come to the realization that I was pushing against it from my own like protection because I love it so much. But the ending felt like 4 people had different ideas and they could not decide what the best way was to end it. So they put it all together. And I would argue that the best way to end that movie would have been a completely different idea altogether. I think if you haven't watched it, click off here because I'm going to give kind of my ending that would have made me feel satisfied. So if you haven't watched it, click off here. Spoiler alert. I like that the sandworm, he was like a matador and doing that with the sandworm. And I think it should have ate the fiance. Like, I think he definitely should have got ate by the sandworm because honestly, that felt good. I feel like Dolores and Beetlejuice should have had more of a back and forth where we could have seen Dolores trying to get him and we could have just had one last little bit of Beetlejuice's powers where he can like change stuff into snakes and do things. I would have liked a little bit more of that in the end, not just him doing his like campy thing and having some elements of Beetlejuice. I would have liked it to go full-blown Beetlejuice. And then it end with him taking out Dolores and then Lydia and Astrid working together, or even with Catherine O'Hara's character. I don't really know her name. I know she's the stepmom, but I always forget what her name is. But because she could have done something to aid them and actually end Beetlejuice for good, or like wake up the guys that were frozen and get him locked up for good, like some kind of conclusion. Because listen, love you, Michael Keaton, and if you want to be Beetlejuice when you're 80, I'll watch it. But realistically, I don't know if we're ever going to get another Beetlejuice. It wouldn't really make sense, I don't think. So I think they could have had a very clear-cut dramatic ending. I think they could have done something drastic to Beetlejuice because we're not going to get another one, I don't think. And then they could have shown a little maybe like end scene where they go to Dracula's castle and maybe they both see the dad because they know he's down there, so they see his presence now. That could have had the little happy ending. I don't think we needed this drawn out dream sequence. I know they wanted to show the baby again because it was funny, but I feel like if Beetlejuice was battling Dolores, they could have put that in there somewhere. It just needed to be more Beetlejuice and it needed to be more action-y. Like, the movie did not feel family friendly. It had elements, but it was to drive the plot until the end. And then it was like, oh, by the way, don't forget this movie has a family friendly theme. I didn't love that. Or even like have Adam and Barbara back in some way. You know what I mean? Like, something should have happened in that end that really just sealed Beetlejuice. That just was like, Beetlejuice is not coming back. That's what I wanted. And maybe they're going to make a third one. I don't think I want to see a third one, though. I think they should have really closed it off. And that's what would have made it a better movie for me. So I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. I'm going to react to some probably next week. I need to give people time to watch it before I go on that rant and see what people think about it. But that's my thoughts. That's how I feel about it. Overall, ugh. See, the plot twist, there's like three plot twists that really, really got me. And I enjoyed the experience overall. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars. It could be 4 stars, but I love Beetlejuice. So I'm going to give it 4.5. If that changes when I react to opinions, you'll see. But right now, and I'm going to put on Letterboxd, 4.5.